Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast, so there I was. It's how all great aviation tales begin. This is episode 218. RePete here, everybody. Fig is flying today, and I am putting up two episodes, two recordings. Let's put it that way. Two recordings from our time in North Carolina at the Harrier Sundown. You're going to hear from Monster and Rizzo and their stories that we recorded whilst in North Carolina. And this summer is just a scheduling nightmare. We're going to put out a show with an interview format every other week, it looks like, for the foreseeable summer future anyway, and hopefully get back to normal life somewhere in the August timeframe. But we'll see how that goes. The other thing I wanted to do is take a few minutes and thank every one of you who's lost all sense of financial responsibility, hiding transactions from your spouse and your financial advisor, and donated money to help us keep this show coming to you. I'm going to read them in the order in which I was able to call the information. More importantly than anything else, however, if I leave you out, if I somehow don't mention you, I don't think I've forgotten anybody. But in the unlikely event I have, please write to me at RePete, that's RePete, at sothereIwas.us, and tell me, because I do not want to leave anybody out who is taking the time to separate their hard-earned money from their wallet and put it in our coffers so that we can bring this wonderful show to you. All right, so I'm going to start off with some tanker aircraft commanders. Of course, there's Chucker, Jason Spears. He spent 7 months at $200 a month back in the day, $1,400 total, and was also on a show with us. That's not just a donation, that's a commitment. Chucker, you carried us on your back there during a critical stretch, and we'll never forget that. So thank you. Aircraft Chris Adams went through Patreon and Donor Box. We cross-referenced that. You've been supporting this show for quite a while, and we deeply appreciate it. Combined giving is in the $800 range now. So thank you. That's a lot of top cover. Thank you. Keith R., Tanker Aircraft Commander on Patreon, is where he hit that for us. You came in right on top and stayed there for a while, and we don't have many details on you, Keith, but we're guessing you're in the Witness Protection Program. So your generosity is on record, and we're deeply appreciative. Then there's Donut, Peter Duncan, $30 a month, $540 lifetime. So we appreciate that. You invented your own tier there, and we appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Donut. And of course, we have to mention, and there's going to be more Tanker Aircraft Commander levels giving as we get down here, and others have done it in their own way, but nothing would be appropriately mentioned without mentioning First Sergeant Crouch. He gathered up $174 in loose change, counted every coin, and factored in the shipping, and he crossed himself right into Tanker Aircraft Commander territory there. So only a first sergeant and drill instructor could be so creative and generous at the same time. Get the details of why $174 in loose change is amazing on episode 267. What a scream. Thank you, Marine. On to our division leaders. Well, again, we got Donut I mentioned before. He's a double division lead. He's doing $30 a month. We're deeply appreciative of that. We've got Caesar, Julius Taylor. He gets us through Donor Box, $285 total now, 19 donations you don't miss. Thanks, Caesar. Roger Volston is a division leader on Patreon since early 2023, now at $480 lifetime. Early believer, steady supporter. Thank you, Roger. Els Piloto, a.k.a. Strecken. And I'm not even reading that. I just know how it's spelled. So Strecken, $480 lifetime. Thank you. Eric Fletcher, $260 lifetime. So study as a C-130 on a long transit. We appreciate that. Matt Geyer, $390 lifetime. You upgraded your tier voluntarily, which tells us everything. So thank you, Matt. Rich Berry is at $255 lifetime. Came in as a division lead right out of the gate. We appreciate that. Dean Chick Korea, Patreon and donor box, both combined, $360. Thank you, Chick. John C. VSTOL, $90 over the lifetime of giving. Thank you, John. And Scott, with no last name, is a new division lead at Patreon. So there I was.us/Patreon as of June, this month, June 2026. And then on down to the section leads on Patreon, also donor box. If you give $10 a month on donor box or Patreon, we will call you a section lead. Start with Jeremy Strack, is at $290 lifetime, nearly 2.5 years. Thank you so much. Dennis is at $260 lifetime, showed up and stayed. Patrick, $270 lifetime. So the guy you want on your wing at night in the weather? Consistency. Thank you. Steven, $340 lifetime, 3 years in. Thank you. William, $190 lifetime, long enough to be crew for sure. Cal Stewart, started in May of 2023, $305 lifetime. You were here before most people knew we existed, so thank you, Cal. Lawman, $220, and I don't know, 7 hours on the show with us. Some of the Lawman shows are some of the most hilarious shows we've had. My ribs are just now recovering, so keeping the law and the show both running. Thanks, Lawman. Dickman723, $240 lifetime. So what your call sign story is, we don't know, and we'd like to hear it. Write us. David O., new section lead as of June 2026. So $10 a month, hit the ground running. Thank you, David O. And Peter Simon, now on the free tier, but on Patreon since October of 2023, $200 lifetime. Peter, you've been quietly supporting the show for almost 3 years, so thank you. Then the pilot level is $5 a month. We got Steve Bates, who went from $5 a month to 750 pennies a month. $7.50 a month is at $255 total on the donor box. So thank you, Master. Clint Budd, 17 consecutive months, $85 total. No gaps, no excuses. Thank you, Clint. Eric Hart, donor box and Patreon both, 14 straight months, combined $70. Thank you. Alan Sisson, $125 lifetime. Thank you, Alan. Richard Jackson, since May of 24, $125 lifetime. Whiskey, Patreon pilot since May of 24, $100 for the lifetime. Jim McHale, $145 lifetime. Ray, since December of 2023, $150 lifetime. Thank you. Statman, a Patreon pilot since November of 2023, $160 lifetime. And Steve Coach Ditto, Patreon pilot since 2023, is at $165 lifetime. Jonathan, also no last name, is given $85 lifetime. Thank you, Jonathan. Spartak is at $180 lifetime. He's been with us since June of 2023. You've outlasted a lot of trends, algorithms, and at least 2 of our microphones. So Wayne is Patreon pilot since June of 2023, $185 lifetime. Earl McCoy, $190 lifetime. And some great pictures a couple times there. Some good stuff from the story of your dad back in the early days, and 2 pictures of your boys in Blue Angels costumes. So fantastic. Chase Cole is a producer and $190 lifetime. And I want to take just a minute here to say thank you, Chase, and our prayers are with you, my friend. He's laid up in the hospital with a pretty badly broken leg, and so prayers go out to you, my friend. We want complete and utter healing for you. Thank you for all you do for the show. Alan Massey, call sign Baytar. That was Big Al, the albino Rio, Baytar. Donor box and Patreon is combined at $390 over the 2 platforms. Kevin Spalding, donor box and Patreon, also on a show with us, $120. Thank you, Kevin. Brett Ross, Patreon pilot since 2025 April, so $70 lifetime. So thank you, Brett. Furious Luddite, January of 2025 came on in with $85 lifetime. Kirby Sims is at $90 lifetime. Kevin, no last name, Patreon pilot since September 2024, $60 lifetime. JP Sullivan, Patreon pilot, $120 lifetime. Kevin Glazier, $120 lifetime. So we had actually 3 Kevins giving. So Kevins and Steves are tied for the world domination on the show donations. Thank you. Mark Miller is at $148 lifetime. Thank you, Mark. Patreon pilot Brian is with us since May of 2024 at $125 lifetime. So let me give some other long-term loyalists and such some mention. We've got Sal Marinello, who's at $1,770 lifetime between donor box contributions and everything else. So top giver, May of 2026, most recently, $50 via Venmo. Reading ahead is something maybe I should do. He's now sells at $1,969 lifetime. So we are deeply grateful. Michelle Langseth dropped another $90 on us just a couple days ago, $1,340. So thank you, Michelle. We're deeply grateful. Nick Shokoli, I think. That's Sierra Zulu, Oscar Kilo. Shokoli, I think. He's $800 Patreon lifetime donations. Joe Desidu, call sign Dizzy, $435 through donor box. And thank you for sponsoring our StreamYard subscriptions to keep us on the air last year, especially when we were having issues with StreamYard. That was a special donation that was needed to get us back in StreamYard and off of Riverside, which just was not going well for us. Larry Curran, call sign Stretch, $400 on donor box. Thank you, Stretch. And then Matthew Loyacono, $100. Thank you, Matt. Badass Brad Silcott at bdsaviationphotography.com, showing $99 total. Thank you, sir. Not to mention all of your fantastic photographs and arts. Deeply appreciative. Mike Andrews, a donor box, is up to $195. And yes, we noticed even the anonymous one you gave, Mike. Patrick McLight, in our record since 2023, keeps them coming back. And I missed to write down the number of the total you've given, Patrick. Our appreciation for all that you have done. And then David Olson, call sign is I'm missing the call sign, but we got $50 on donor box from you. Marcus Pante back in 2023 started giving. He's at $50. And then Cale Heckerson showed up in 2023. And Cale, I'm sorry, I don't have the number for yours either. I thought all of these I had gotten. So a couple others here. We got James Snyder, who is given $500 in cash. We got Jeff Carr, gave us $500 in cash. General Joe Anderson, Gallo, $100 donation. Thank you, Gallo. Doc, $100. Wayne Tunick, and Wayne's, I think, 50, and Rich at $25 a quarter, so that was $75 from Rich Walker. Bud Spencer, $100 in cash. Thank you. Pete Smith, $100 and a very nice set of frosted bar glasses. So we use those. Thank you. Paul Mertz, Ethel, $100. Thank you. Jeff Cross, $100. Rich Walker, already mentioned above, but thank you for your donor box contribution of $50. Sheriff Gerald Ray, $50. Robert Murray, $50. Phil Marie, $50 across two donations. Wayne Tunick, another $50 on donor box. Brad Silcott, there it is, another $25. And so I think that puts you at $125. Jerry Mullen, $25. Paul Shepardson, $25. Bill A., $25. Phil Comer, $25. And Ames Ziegra, I just have the amount that we netted, which is $38.72. So I'm telling myself that's a $45 contribution. And also we have Venmo, which is where we get a larger cut if you decide to give us money and don't do it on a regular basis. If you want to do a one-time thing, go to sothereIwas.us/donate, follow the link for Venmo. We got $500 from Al Cisneros, call sign Taco. First Hispanic Blue Angel pilot, and what a wonderful show that was. Adam Schmidt up to $100. Magic gave us $40, and Dan Zielkowski $25. Barry McCurry $50. Christopher Ustveen $20. Patrick Miller $10, and Charles Yost $20. So look, again, that's a little disjointed. I apologize for that. It took a while to go back and find everything that everybody gave. And if I screwed it up, hit me between the headlights with an email so I can fix it, please. Every dollar from every person on this list at every amount through every platform goes towards keeping these stories alive, towards making sure that the aviators and the warriors and the veterans and the people who live through extraordinary moments get the recognition they deserve. And so I'm trying to give you a little bit of recognition back, and it's inadequate. Beyond anything I can say, thank you is the best way I can express it. Thank you deeply from the bottom of our hearts. The show exists because you decided it should. So there I was, and we are here because of you. So now let's go fly with two great stories that we picked up at the Sundown.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. There I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fun.
So there I was. This is no shit. Flight school.
This is no shit.
This is no shit. Flight school, 1984. I wanted to be a fighter pilot like everybody else in the world. And the monitor says, guess what? You got everything we need to be our very first nugget selected for the AV-8B program. I said, an AV-8 what? Turned out to be the best decision I ever made. Met my wife of 38 years who's sitting up here.
God bless her.
But anyway, I was the first one because the other three in my class were selected a week later. Come to Cherry Point, we had lots of firsts. A lot of first time to do this, first time to go to CAX, first time to land on this field, first time to do that.
Yep.
The first time the Harriers went Oconus was 1986. We took a debt to the Med, so Lieutenant General Al Gray could see us operate off the USS Guadalcanal.
Awesome.
I was the junior guy of the debt. Not even thinking about it until the moment. We had all done FCLPs. You're light loaded, you got max performance, off you go. And then this morning it was like, well, we're going to launch the first ever heavyweight stow off of an LPH. Not done by a test pilot. And who's first one in line? Well, my lead, BJ. BJ's a first lieutenant. I'm a first lieutenant. Of course, this is Marine Corps. This is how you do shit.
Monster, I have a question.
Go ahead, my
What
buddy.
could possibly go wrong?
Oh, it was with me flying, just about everything. So we get up there, and he was getting a bad axle because of some exhaust off a helicopter. So they go, hey, taxi off Monster, you're up. Holy fuck. I mean, by now we knew what was going on. This was the first ever heavyweight stow of a Harrier off of an amphib. And we didn't have computers. So Rambo and B9 are up in Pryfly, and they were doing sharp pencil study on these little charts to come up. And suddenly here comes from Boston, Rambo. Monster, say your fuel. I named it. He goes, we're going to burn you down 200 pounds. I'm thinking, oh my God. So I sat there for a few minutes, burned down 200 pounds of gas. And then it was like, okay, Monster, you're up. And then B9 comes up, hey, Monster, you're on the numbers. Well, thank you for that. So off we go. Now, normally when you're light loaded, you go off the end of an amphib and you drop the nozzles. You got more performance than God has people.
Yeah.
And the velocity vector goes right off the top of the HUD.
Sure.
I launched off the end of the ship. I dropped the nozzles. I rotated. And I thought somebody broke my velocity vector. It's not moving.
Oh.
And then for about 0.2 of a second, it dipped about 1 RCH. I about shit my pants. And then it came back up again. Off we went. And it was in a haze. There was no horizon. So the first heavyweight was a junior guy in the debt. First one ever. And off we go. And then the next thing I remember hearing from Rambo was, hey, Monster, you okay? They couldn't see me.
Because of the haze?
Because of the haze. You know, only in the Marine Corps.
Only. Right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, that was the same debt where I actually I inspired an Op-Rep 3 Navy blue, and then the troops painted a Russian trawler on the side of my aircraft, but that's another story.
Oh, okay. We're gonna record that later. Okay, you said something to me before we started recording.
Right.
You you bookended
I bookended.
So let's tell us about that.
Right place at the right time. And even though I was on probation for grades a few times in flight school, things went better. I actually did get a clue. And it turns out I had everything they were looking for, and I was in the right place. And I was the first new guy selected to fly the AV-8B. And therefore, I have a certificate from McDonnell Douglas that's number 65. Because you got Joe Anderson over here, Gallo, who flew a shitload of it. All kinds of other people that flew it before me. So I'm number
65.
65 in my class of 4 guys. Now, the other end, I'm in the reserves flying A4. Squadrons went down to 1. Jets went down to 2. And I finally get to retire a jet with the skipper of the squadron. But that's the Easter egg airplane. We want to take it to Cherry Point, down there for the maybe museum or at the visitor center like it is today.
Sure.
And no, it's both of you. You're retiring both jets. Next morning, I show up and the maintenance chief holds up a paper and goes, "Here's our message. Major, you're a singleton. You're going to Davis Mountain all by yourself." So I retired the last Marine Corps A4, but everything has to be qualified. The last flight was next week when the skipper flew 160024 down to Cherry Point, and today it sits at the visitor center in Havelock.
That's fantastic.
That was a qualified bookends.
So you had the very first. Well, you were the very first nugget to fly the AV-8B.
First one selected.
And you were the last.
I didn't fly it for Scott Lucas. Another guy did.
The last A4.
I retired the last A4 that retired.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So qualified bookends. And if I did anything wrong, it was Gallo taught me everything I know.
Uh-huh.
So,
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your service, Mark.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for the stories.
Hey, guys, it was great.
And you're going to come back and tell us more on a full-length podcast.
Yeah, about how
say yes. Just say yes.
Full length. Yes, absolutely.
God bless America.
Thanks, all right.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. Cake.
So there I was, realizing that most custom metal you see online is about as custom as airline coffee. And then I found DCArtworks.net. If you've ever ordered something that looked cool on a website and showed up feeling thin, flimsy, or suspiciously lightweight, you already understand why this sponsor matters. DC Artworks is American-made, veteran-owned, and run by Derek, a guy who cuts metal the right way, CNC cut, hardened steel, followed by hands-on finishing. Translation, the computer gives you aerospace-level precision and the human gives it soul. No bent sheet metal, no stamped junk. No, don't hang this where people can't touch it. Instructions included in the box here. And here's the part that separates DC Artworks from almost everyone else. 95% of what they build is custom, not a pick a font and we'll engrave it. I mean real custom. Your idea, your wall, your squadron, your call sign, your business. The design library on DCArtworks.net is updated constantly, but that's just the inspiration. The real magic happens when you contact Derek and say, "Here's what I'm thinking," because he can scale from small personal pieces to large commercial installations without breaking a sweat. I've got a set of naval aviator wings nearly 2 feet across, and they're genuinely stunning. People don't walk past them. They stop. They lean in. They ask, "Where do those come from?" That's the reaction you want. DC Artworks also specializes in powder coating and multi-material engraving, which means layered finishes, depth, and contrast that actually look better in person than they do online. He's a military GPC vendor, offers bulk and repeat discounts, and is consistently one of the lowest priced vendors in the space for this level of quality. And because you listened to So There I Was, Derek made it simple. Go to DCArtworks.net, use the code STIW to get 20% off every order forever, even if another discount's already running. Nobody does that, but Derek does, because he's that kind of a great guy who wants to make you happy with what you envision for your wall. It's not a sale. It's a standing invitation. So here's your move. Go to DCArtworks.net right now, browse for about 90 seconds, then email Derek and commission something that actually deserves wall space. Fair warning, you won't unsee the blank spots on your wall the same way ever again. And thanks to DCArtworks.net for sponsoring this episode.
Okay, so no shit, there I was.
Right on.
It's 2003 or 4 or 5, sometime around when OIF was still the Wild West, and Men were men and sheep were scared.
Right on.
We were getting replaced, rip, by a Mew. I think it was 311. And this guy comes in. He's going to be my wingman that night. I'm going to take him out and get him oriented to the battle space. It's during the Battle of Fallujah, and it was pretty intense, but kind of for the pilots. It was level lays every night, so not too much brain work behind it. And I briefed basically a milk run. We're going to go out there. I'm going to laze. You're going to hit the bickle button. We're going to blow stuff up. We'll be back about 3 a.m, have some coffee, hit the rack.
Easy day, right?
Easy day. So we go out and we actually launch before sunset, and we're out there and we're over Fallujah in the stack and getting ready to do our thing. And we get a call for a troops in contact over in Aramati, which at the time was like the Beverly Hills of Iraq. And so we head over there to see what's going on. And we find the Marines, and they got a pretty complex ambush going to this company, and they're kind of pinned down on this road, and there's some kids hit in the street, and it gets pretty ugly pretty quickly. And so we found where the insurgents were up in this third story of this building, and I called the battle captain. And I said, look, I'm just going to collapse this building on them. My wingman's got a couple 500-pounders. Let me just drop the whole building. We'll be done with this in 2 seconds, and we'll get back to work. Well, because nobody'd shot or dropped there, they wouldn't let us do that. So we said, well, how about we stand off a few miles and we'll put a Maverick in the window where they're shooting from. That'll send a message. And no, too much collateral. So they cleared us for the guns, which, as it turns out, was a terrible idea. We did not see that coming. Yeah.
I like the idea.
It felt pretty good at the time, right? You're like, oh, wait, oh.
Sounds like a really good idea to me.
Yeah, like you're going to go down the chute and drop that mask and be like, oh, yeah, that was great. So that's not how that worked out. Let me tell you something. That's not how that worked out at all. So we go in and just dusk, can't get on the goggles. We could see the guys on the pods, but as you come down the chute, Iraq has that purplish haze in the evening just before the sun goes down. It's difficult to discern things, especially when you're coming down through it. So I'm flipping the goggles up, and it's just nothing's working. I come down the chute and I don't get cleared hot by the FAC, and actually right before that, the FAC had his truck blown up, so he goes off station. But we knew where the target was, so we're going to attack it anyway. And then he comes back up on the station. Turns out he was alive, which was cool to hear. And so I roll in and I get cleared hot, but I roll in and I see the target, but he never clears me hot. So I pull off without shooting or dropping. And to be honest, as a pilot, I really never cared a lot about that cleared hot thing. It's kind of informal to me, if you want to.
That's a technicality.
By the time I point my nose at the ground, this is over. You better put your helmet on. Yeah. So, any rate, I don't drop or shoot or anything. We pull off. My wingman goes in. We had this 2,000 foot above ground limit. You couldn't go any lower. And so he does the right thing. He maybe goes a little below it, shoots and kind of misses. And now I come around and I can see him on the pod. They're behind a building. They got a truck full of ammunition. And there had to be 15 or 20 of them out there. So I roll around, and this is our third run from the same direction because the sun is coming from the other way. And so the FAC says, hey, put out some flares so I can see you. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem, Devil Dog. Not thinking, so can everybody else see me? So I come ripping down, and I can't see him, and I can see him in the pod, and I'm looking in the hood, and I know they're there, and he clears me hot. And so I go down, and I open up, and then I pull off, and it was a little lower than I had planned.
How much lower?
We'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
It was not good low. It was not good low. But the problem was I knew where they were. I had to get them. I knew I could get them if I just kept going. So I went and got them. And then, so we pull off. The whole fight stops. It really worked. And they didn't think we'd use casts like that. And they went running for the hills, man. We could just see those guys go running. Whoever was left, not in that alleyway we straight. So long story short, we get back after dark, and we had this plane captain. And he looked like Mike Tyson, this little built guy, and kind of talked like Mike Tyson like this too. Like, hey, sir, how's it go? And every time I'd come back, I'd take my map out and pull my flashlight out and take a knee and be like, come here, Marines. And we talk about, hey, man, I dropped over here, shot some bad guys, killed some beetle eaters over here, blah, blah, blah. We did our thing just to let them know because they never leave the base.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
they never know what happens.
Right.
So
they see you leave and they see you come back.
yeah,
they don't know what happens in between.
but you need to tell them what they did, what all their efforts went to, you know? So I did that and I go to walk away and I hear, oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, shit. And I turn around and I was like, what's wrong? And he shines his flashlight up at the side of the airplane and it's just riddled with bullet holes. And I look at it, I said, oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, no. Right? So the two of us are standing out there. Oh, shit. So I didn't know what happened. I thought I fragged. So I go inside. The skipper's in there.
You thinking maybe you fragged yourself? Maybe.
I thought maybe. Yeah. It was a little lower than expected. So at any rate, we go inside and the word travels pretty fast. I think the orties are out there downloading. People are like, all the enlisted Marines knew, dude, Riz got shot up tonight. So they're stealing the rounds and the ordnance Marines are like, that's evidence. And like, we don't care. And they're grabbing shit and running. So it was kind of like a melee, you know, and any rate, I get to talk to the skipper about it not that long after that. And he's like, how did this happen? And I was like, yeah, some stuff happened. And then, you know, that happened. And I'm not really sure how all that happened, but we got some bad guys. And so he's like, let's look at the HUD tape. And then the blood rained out of my head.
Oh, yeah.
And I just knew my career was over because I knew what I'd done. So the bottom line is, you know, we had the 2,000-foot floor and I broke it by 1,900 feet.
Oh, yes.
So I'm watching it. And the skipper is Lieutenant General Bart Sanborn. So Bart's lieutenant colonel, and we were friends. He lived in the neighborhood. His kids would come swim at the pool. We golfed together. Great guy, just a great human being. And he's looking at the tape. He's like, dude, you opened up at 100 and you pulled off at 60. You were in the alley. And I was like, I did not know that. Until you just said that, I really hadn't. I was just focused on the target. He's like, bro, that's really low.
Yeah.
And so I got a couple days off for that one. I got a chance to go to the thinking box about that.
That's a great story, dude.
So the fact the fact knew when he saw it, he's like, that guy's going to get in trouble. So he sent a nice email that said basically like, hey, that section stopped the whole thing. It started and then they showed up and they wanted nothing. They did not think people would do that. Humans would do that. And to be honest with you, the humans that were doing it didn't think they would do it either.
Yeah.
I may have fallen asleep in the gun run. I'm not really sure what happened, but it was all news to me when I watched the tape. Like, oh gosh. So any rate, fast forward 20 years, I'm on Facebook and there's a Harrier group and somebody writes something to the effect of, hey man, do you guys remember that lunatic that did that gun run and got shut up in Aramati that night? And I'm watching and then the comments start popping and it's like, oh geez, man. And I'm watching and as I'm, you know, watching TV and I keep going back to the posts and I'm like, finally I was like, yeah, that was me. And they're like, oh, Rizzo, yeah, that was you, of course. So one of the kids who stole, I told you they stole the rounds, the empty shell casings. One of the kids who stole some, he's pretty handy. He's like a machinist. And he says to me, hey, message me offline, give me your address. And he still had 2 of the shell casings and he cut them down to shot glasses and powder coated them, sent them to me. So now I have my shell casings that I shot that night. And so at any rate, yeah.
Nice.
So that's I guess what I'm famous or infamous for is just, yeah.
Rizzo.
Losing track of what was happening there.
What a great story.
Hey, bro. Oh, Marine, that is outstanding.
That is a great story.
All right. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks, bro.
It's my first time on a show.
Hey.
Like Will Ferrell, I'm not really sure what to do with my hands.
Wow. What a great couple of stories. Thank you, Monster. Thank you, Rizzo. And of course, thank you to Derek at dcartworks.net for sponsoring this episode. Mostly thank you to all active duty and veterans for signing on the dotted line. And thank you to your families who sacrificed so much so you could do the job that you signed up to do. Thank you for your service. Thank you for my freedom. If you have any questions Or better yet, if you've got stories similar to these, reach out, record them, and send them to us. Give us 5 minutes. Give us 7 minutes. Tell us some of these stories. We want you on the show. That's it. I'm going to keep it nice and short. Till next week, stay safe. Check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on, Fig. What'd he say?
He said it's over. I say this calls for action, and now.
Right. And we're out.